Welcome to the big time, pal!
The victory is well fought.
Welcome to the big time, pal! Now who's got the
Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Thursday Throwdown. It is not Maniac Monday like it shows on the screen. I never changed the text up here. I will change that while we do that. Welcome to Thursday Throwdown. Tonight we're gonna have two very good matches for you all. Starting off with this Pro Series match that we have up on the screen. We have Mick from Popeye Spicy Chicken Sandwich versus Risen of Aeon, and alongside me today is going to be none other than Nice Jewish Owl or Milo. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I am doing quite well. I'm excited for some spicy action today.
Oh yeah, nothing like a good pro match. This got some insane players here. Just in the entire series, this match being Mick, who has, is the legendary creator of Mick Hunter, is also a very, very strong player. It looks like he's struggling a bit on the record this series, but looking to turn it around against Risen.
Yeah, and of course, Risen is no slouch either.
No, of course not.
I've played against him in both Legacy and Aspirant, and managed to scrape out a victory both times, but it has definitely been pretty close. So I would not discount him as a player either.
Oh yes, Risen is insane, and he plays lower seeds generally in the other series, but he is far under PR for how strong of a player he actually is. So this is super exciting. We're gonna have kind of two parts. So this portion of the stream is only going to be this match, but then later tonight, at like 10 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna have Big Ted versus Cherub and Hero, and that'll be broadcasted. I'm going to make sure my
All right.
Yeah.
Looks like the bands are in.
Awesome. We have both bands showing. So give them to me so I can put them up on the screen.
It is exactly as I said it would be before the show. Both players have banned Priest.
Yes. Dodging the Priest mirror. You'll love to see it.
So, I guess going over the deck list a little bit.
Sure.
In addition to Priest, Mick has brought Rush Warrior, Miracle Rogue, and Token Druid. And Risen, on the other hand, has also brought Rush Warrior and Miracle Rogue, but has swapped out the Token Druid for a Libram Paladin. As far
Yes.
as specific lists, from what I can tell, the Rogue lists look to be 30 for 30, the exact same. It's the version with Foxy Fraud and Vanessa as opposed to the version with Brooms that's been running around a little bit. The Rush Warrior lists are slightly different. Mick has opted to run double Ogre Mancer, whereas Risen is running a second Warmaw Challenger and Tent Trasher in place of it.
Gotcha.
And then
Yes, indeed.
the Token Druid list is the fairly standard list, double Pride's Fury, double Soul of the Forest, and the Libram Paladin is the secret Libram Paladin with one conviction. That's sort of become the standard list there.
Oh yeah, I see that one of conviction. I'm surprised it's not a two of, because generally that's a very strong card. But it makes sense in a in like an old paladin style list that just doesn't run brooms anymore. It's doesn't even really need them. So it runs one conviction.
It's interesting. The Libram Paladin has really shifted to a much more aggressive play style. Even though a
Yeah.
lot of the cards are the same as the old Broom Paladin, we'll notice there's no Librams of Justice in the list. There's no Penflingers. Instead, it's looking to use those Librams to really just make massive boards faster than other decks are able to deal with it, and then close out the game with those Librams of Judgment or Conviction or Liadrins.
Yeah, makes sense. Um, so both players are online. I'm just going to let them know that whenever they challenge up that they can actually just go ahead and play when they want.
So what are your predictions for how this match is going to go?
So you and I actually kind of discussed this, and we both kind of looked at Paladin and Druid as two classes that might not have a great time against against their opponent's decks. Where it could come down to Paladin and Druid having to go up against each other in a game 5 scenario. Um, and that's like kind of a 50-50. Maybe it really just depends on the start that either class gets in that scenario.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've seen in GM that matchup played a few times, and it can really go either way because the Druid's able to make these massive boards very early, but sometimes Paladin is able to play Aldor Attendant on turn 1, a Hand of It All on turn 2, and just keep the Druid off the board. And I do think it's also going to be interesting because Rush Warrior into Miracle Rogue is fairly heavily favored towards the Warrior.
Yes,
So we'll have to see what queue order the players decide to go with. Because
definitely. All right, the players are going to be going into game actually. So
all right.
I will go ahead and give the spiel to the stream. For those watching on stream, Risen will be first to spectate. He will be on the bottom, and Mick will be on the top, and you can spectate whatever order you would like. So yeah, let's see how they lead this match.
Yeah. I had to say, I think there's a decent argument for leading with any of these decks. I think if I'm Risen, I probably want to lead with the Rogue because it's very, very good into that Druid.
Yeah,
Whereas if I'm Mick, I want to lead with that Warrior because it's pretty good into the Paladin. But then, of course, if you're Risen, you go, well, Mick's going to lead with Warrior. I really don't want to lead with Rogue. But then you can have the vice versa of each player trying to get in the other one's head.
yeah,
And looks like the game is starting.
yeah. Eyeballs are on the screen. I get it up as soon as I can.
So it's the opposite. Mick is going to go for that Rogue, and Risen is going to go for the Warrior.
All right.
So this matchup is fairly Warrior favored, although it's still very winnable for the Rogue if you're able to get an explosive start.
Wow, look at that. I didn't even have to change the classes on the screen. You'll love to see it. Um, so yeah, we see Mick threw everything away from his hand and got a fairly good hand to start off.
I believe we also saw Risen throw away everything from his hand.
Yeah,
So, not the best opening hands, but they've replaced them with fairly decent ones on both sides of the board.
definitely.
So,
All right.
right now, Risen's hand is a little clunky in that the curve isn't super nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate coining out the bumper card here, although with the caster vision, I can see the Octobot, and being able to coin Playmaker in response to Octobot is really only one of the only ways that Rush Warrior has to deal with Octobot without proccing it.
Agreed. Yeah. I would fully expect to see an Octobot here from Mick.
Hmm. Yeah, even though the discounts in hand aren't great for Mick, it's still just such an insane tempo swing to be able to play Man Crick and a 3-2 next turn.
Yeah.
And now there's the question of when you're facing down Rogue and they play the Octobot, do you activate it yourself and give them the 4-card discount, or do you let them draw another card?
Yeah, and generally I've always been the type of person who just says give them the least amount of discounts as possible. There are scenarios where you just don't do it, but I mean, there's no Gunnar or there's no way to really deal with it. So we're just gonna play the rush octo, the rush bumper car, and be able to go push that one damage face. But this hand looking nice for Mick. Obviously, Mancrick and Neophyte being very strong cards because Neophyte doesn't really do anything right now against Warrior, but it doesn't really do much at all against Warrior. So
Yeah, it's
it's kind of okay just to drop it.
it is surprising. You look at Rush Warrior and it runs 3 spells. You've got Athletic Studies, Stage Dive, and Conditioning, and none of those are like super impactful to hit with Cult Neophyte. It'll slow your opponent down a little bit, but there's so many minions in the deck that you're not getting much value out of that. Um, Mix now faced with the quandary of do you play a bunch of cheap cards now to get tempo, or do you try and hold out for a field contact?
Yeah,
And
I he opts to just go on board now, but there is a very good case to be made to just wait that out.
I definitely like playing the Mancrick there, and I think,
Yes.
as we said, the Cult Neophyte's not very useful in this matchup. I don't mind dropping it. I would have been a little more hesitant if we had dropped Foxy Frauds, just because those do have potential additional value.
Yeah, agreed. Um, really, those foxies are gonna need to be saved. Um, the Rush Warrior did, or Mick did, or sorry, Risen drew Athletic Studies, which means it's a 2-mana Athletic Studies. There's still a case to be made just to go 2-mana Athletic Studies with a Gnarg here. Um,
Yeah, I really like Gnarg plus Athletic Studies because it sets us up for Run Thack next turn. And
yes.
with Run Thack next turn, we're going to have a bunch of bumper cars in hand.
Hmm.
And it set you can get insane swing turns on turn 5 or 6 if you're playing a Playmaker along with 2 or 3 bumper cars that have
Yeah.
been buffed.
And I really like the pickup of Rokara. Rokara is pretty good. Can opt to just trade some stuff here into the Neophyte if you want to remove it. Um, and just leave up the 3/4 and the 1/3.
Yeah, I think trading into the Neophyte's the best option, although
Yeah.
it does feel a little bad because our Run Thack isn't going to get a great value trade. I think
Agreed.
if you're Mick, you play the 1-mana Foxy Fraud alongside One Thief, and you look for probably a rigged, or I guess rigged fair game isn't great here. You look for Arcane Intellect or some sort of draw.
Yeah, I definitely want to see some draw come out. It's
Care to make a wager,
the
friend?
gonna go for the
mana Foxy
goes
Fraud.
for the
Yeah.
2 mana.
Choose
Yeah,
Now that-
I really don't like using the 2 mana one, just because, like, as we're seeing, there's Mage Secrets and Arcane Intellect, both of which you'd probably really like to play this turn. Although Netherwind Portal, not great.
Yeah, Mick's just gonna opt for the Snap Freeze and gonna take this opportunity to push 5 damage face.
Yeah, I mean, those mage spells were not what you wanted to see, so I think Snap Freeze was the best option out of them.
It really
But
was, yeah.
that was a very low bar.
Yeah, so can you just go for the Runthack here and remove... can't really even the only thing you can really remove that has a lot of attack is the Foxy, because the Mancrick has a bit too much attack, or a bit too much defense. Punch through it.
Yeah. I don't mind leaving up the Mancrick, because next turn I think we're gonna go Playmaker Double Rider, and we can
Makes
trade
sense.
both the 2/1s into Mancrick.
Yeah.
Then the 1/3 dies to our weapon, and the 1/2 dies to one of the 2/2s. So we've got a full clear setup for next turn.
Yeah, and Rizen's gonna go for this line, where he'll play Runthack and now have to decide what to trade into. I really just want to see it hit into the Foxy, even though it makes it a bit awkward if you attack something like the Octobot.
Interesting that he does opt to kill the Octobot there.
Yeah.
It is the minion with the most health, but I guess the issue with trading into Foxy is that it opens up very clean clears with both Mancrick and potential Brain Freeze. Since we don't know what that mage spell is, I think Brain Freeze is a very reasonable concern, because it's a very high value pick because of field contact for Rogue.
Yeah. So
Speaking of field contact,
field contact, Foxy Fraud draws a doesn't really get much value out of it, so the field contact is just gonna be on for one turn. Not the draw you really like to see. Was looking for something like a Brain Freeze, or another Wand Thief, something that gets obviously discounted by Foxy to cost 0 to continue the draw engine. Wow, what a pickup! That won't be great this turn, but in the future.
I wonder. So if we play the conditioning this turn, we can then play 3/4/4.
Yeah,
I think that's better than what we're doing with Playmaker.
actually, I think you're right. I think that is a better play. But we're gonna see the Playmaker come out here.
I also like the Playmaker line.
Yeah.
It lets us clear one additional minion, and we are kind of low, so I think essentially clearing off everything but that Mancrick. That's what I
Yeah.
assume is going to happen, at least, because I don't really want to trade with our weapon, because even though we're warrior, there's not much healing in this deck, and we can see that Mick does have the double Wicked Stab in hand, so you're worried about getting burned out by the rogue at this point.
Yeah, so that represents currently represents, I believe, 8 damage from hand plus that, so 5 damage off, which I don't think there was a way to actually achieve to get lethal there, but Brain Freeze coming in here will allow the freezing of Runthack again if you'd like, or even maybe just removing the 5/4 Playmaker to make sure that they can't make sure that Risen can't pop off with the other 2 remaining Darkmoon Riders.
Yeah. I think there maybe was a potential lethal that turn with a Wife top deck combined with Wand Thief.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
Yeah. But I don't think that was a very likely outcome.
Yeah.
So with Risen at 12 health, Mick now just has him on a clock of if I hit 10 mana, I'll kill you from hand if you don't heal.
For sure.
Although Rush Warrior can definitely close out the game before.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing's done over the next 4 turns, he can close out the game.
He does use one. He uses one of his Wicked Stabs. Wow, that's a nice pickup. Parade Leader with a Rokara in hand. It can be pretty massive.
Yeah, I don't think we can play both of them this turn.
No, probably not.
I think if you're the warrior, you have to hero power here because there's the possibility of wife off the top.
Yeah.
The play I'd like to see is Rikara followed by Dark Moon Rider and trade in both the riders on board, hit face with everything else, and it gives your whole board +2/+2.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I wonder if Risen is. I think Risen probably recognizes that he has to use his zero power, but he might not go for it. He might just do it with. He might just do riders with Parade Leader. Okay, that's also fine.
Rider is also super strong here, I think.
Yeah. He can pull this and still hero power. Yeah, he does exactly that. Pulls Krabby Boy.
Yeah, both this and the Rikara line are put you in a very, very winning position.
Yeah.
I don't know if either one is like objectively correct or more correct than the other. That is not what you want to see.
That is not what you want to see if you're Mick. No. A wife top deck would be close. It would be 3/7. It would have been like 8 damage. But we see Mick.
Yeah, you would have been 2 off, which is why Risen had to hero power that turn.
Yeah, and he gets through with the warrior.
Yeah, I think that matchup went about how we expected. The warrior cleared off the rogue's board in the first few turns and then snowballed really, really quickly into victory.
Yeah.
I think if you're Mick, you probably bring your warrior out this game. Opts to stick with the rogue. So
could be expecting a druid. Finds a paladin.
I will fight with honor.
I'm just now noticing that there is a Murger McGurgle in Risen's
Oh,
paladin
did I mess up
list.
the...
I did not notice that initially.
I guess I messed up Risen's... No, I didn't. Sorry, Risen's first class is paladin. There we go. I was confused. I was expecting a druid, and there's no druid. All right.
Risen opts to keep the 1-drop and the 2-drop. Makes sense to me.
Oh, yeah.
I think if I'm Mick, the mulligan's a little harder because Field Contact is a very high value card and goes for a full null. It's interesting to see a bunch of cheap combo cards along with Field Contact to get the full null, but maybe looking for something a little more proactive against Paladin.
Yeah, definitely could be looking that way.
Especially if you're on the coin. There's a school of thought that's just full null for Octobot because coin Octobot wins games on the spot.
One drop into 2-drop, quite nice.
Sadly, we can't go into 3-drop, but
yeah, I mean you could, but you'd be just throwing out a spider tank.
I wouldn't hate throwing out a spider tank if we didn't have the second Knight of Anointment in hand already.
Oh yeah, I think you just I think that Risen might just go for Knight and see if he gets Hand of Adal. But for Mick, we have just the hero power. The hand like looks pretty good. There's good pieces for field contact. Just kind of looking for a Foxy Fraud here, honestly.
That's a massive top deck. Although I guess Knight of Anointment maybe drew the Hand of it all anyways. But
Yeah, but having it as that guarantee was really nice. And I like even though the priest isn't on the board, playing around what would be Hysteria, even though there's no priest.
Okay.
Anyways,
Mick has a decent turn available.
True.
With field contact, coin, guardian og merchant, shadow step, the og merchant.
Sure. Yeah, that's a couple of draws.
I think it's weak to specifically the secret weapon, and I guess either of the 4-mana rushes.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like the best option given the hand, unless we're Wicked Stab, Brain Freeze, also not awful. Opting to save the coin.
Yeah. I guess Wicked Stab isn't the type of card that wins you this matchup. And I'm wondering if Mick just wants to save the Shadow Step for turn 6. Or turn 5, I should say. In the case of a coin Jandis. But Paladin's just going to play the Oh My Yogg and then play the Northwatch Commander.
It feels like this Rokan is an Octobot away from being an absolutely insane hand.
Yeah, he's going to test the coin. Gonna test with the coin right now.
It's Flurry, which is
pretty good.
Actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Because we might now see field contact Guardian Og Merchant, because the only possible clear Paladin has is Smurrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Outside of like first day of school into Broom shenanigans.
I would definitely like to see the field contact Guardian Og Merchant, and that is the play that we see. Sets up pretty well for a potential the Secret Passage next turn.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
What was the one card that punished this?
Blade Master Samuro, and look at that. Risen just draws it off the top.
Huh?
Gonna develop a 1/3 on top of it.
Yeah.
Where's Betrayal? So let's see what we have potentially. Double Secret Passage makes his hand super clunky. Did draw a Cult Neophyte, but there's nothing too big about a Neophyte right now.
This is probably a passage turn, just because our hand right now isn't amazing. Although we can, with Hero Power, Neophyte, Plunderer, Shadow Step, we could clear one of the 1/3s and the 3/4.
Yeah, we're gonna opt for this line, and it's nothing great here. Octobot can't just get full cleared, but I guess it's good just to get it out, as well as developing a 3/2. But this Octobot's not gonna get to live as as there's Hand of Adal for this 3/4, which would take it over the threshold of 4 damage.
Both Omayogs have been drawn, so this sword is guaranteed to pull Galloping Saviors.
Yes, it'll only give Horsies.
Oh yeah, actually, shutting off this Octobot is massive, because Mick's next turn, if that Octobot was procced, being able to play Jandis, Neophyte, and Double Plunder would have been probably backbreaking for the Paladin.
Yeah.
Instead, you still slam Jandis, but you're not as happy about it.
Yeah. The good news is that, at least for Mick, is that, and he might be a little cautious due to Oh My Yogg with using the Shadow Step, because now the secret's kind of random and it's a 50-50. So I wonder if that's going to play any effect into how if this Jandis gets played now, or if you try to figure something out later with it. You do have like Neo. There was like some other potential plays, but this one was obviously just the best. Scrap Golem, Optimistic Ogre. That's really good.
Ogre is a lot of stats, and Scrap Golem is the healing is probably a decent bit relevant.
Yeah.
Outside of Alexing yourself, Rogue has no real way to heal, and Libram of Judgment makes taking chip damage not great against Paladin, because they have like a 2-mana deal 15 to you over the next 3 turns card.
Yeah, I would just kind of take the 50-50 and hope you get Jandis back. And he gets in.
It's not.
Is it a?
So I don't know how Sword works, but it's not quite a 50-50 because we've seen, or have we seen one Oh My Yogg?
No, there's been one Oh My Yogg. Sorry, it's a 60. It's a 33% Oh My Yogg. Technically speaking, unless there's a Reckoning in the deck too, potentially. Instead, I missed.
There's not. It's double Oh My Yogg, double Galloping.
Okay,
there's some lists that run 1 Galloping, 1 Reckoning.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the lists aren't running Reckoning because it's a potential draw off of Night of Anointment, and that feels really bad.
Yeah, so this Cone of Cold pickup from Babbling Book, that's massive, honestly. Although trading in the 5/1 in first to remove the Scrap Golem, there was a full clear with it. There was a full clear without it, but at the 5 and leaves no 6/7 on the board, even though you have to give up the 5/5 in that case. And now there's a 6/7, and granted it is Optimistic Ogre, so it's not guaranteed to hit where Mick actually aims it. But it just leaves another big minion up with Jandis available to be played.
Yeah, it's hard for me to see a play that is better than Jandis again.
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's what we're most likely going to do.
You go... There's a world in which you play Jandis last, you go like Cult Neophyte, Brain Freeze, something, and then you Jandis. He's gonna lead Swindle into Oh My Yogg.
Yeah, I wonder if...
See what it gets. It's Bola Shot.
Bola
Shot removes 2 minions.
Yeah, if you know your opponent has Galloping Savior up, if they're board locked,
true,
and you activate the Galloping Savior, I don't believe it would activate. So
yeah,
maybe
you're right.
Opting to play 3 cards and try and activate that Galloping. Here I'd expect either Brain Freeze or Prize Plunderer to come down to clear off one of these larger minions, most likely the 5/1.
Yeah, it'll trigger Galloping, but then the Ogre can try and attack into it.
Hopefully Ogre hits it.
And it
Ogre
does. Good Ogre. The only reason I was kind of thinking about Cult Neophyte in that turn is just because of the one kind of being like, oh, they've played 1 or 2 attendants, or they play 1 attendant, so they probably have an 8-mana Libram of Hope, and I might want to turn that off. But
it's a combination of they've played 1 attendant and they have 2 holy spells in hand.
Yeah.
And yeah, the holy spells are either Libram of Wisdom, Conviction, or Libram of Hope, and I think at this point you can say it's probably Libram of Hope.
Agreed. So now Neophyte doesn't really do a lot, so this is probably just going to be another passage turn here for Mick. But can opt to remove the Ogre or just leave it up. I might actually want to just remove it. You can even trade with your face if you want to preserve an extra minion.
Yeah, I think Ogre just trades fairly favorably into those 4/6. I think I'd want to take it out. Worth noting if you leave out that Crimson Clergy.
Says no, okay.
Okay.
There's the last secret, the last Galloping Savior. And I'm pretty sure that Mick knows what that is because both Oh My Yogs have triggered and one galloping. So
Yep. Yeah, I think this has to be a passage turn, just because the current hand isn't amazing. Although I don't hate just playing out everything that isn't passage.
makes
Um,
sense.
I guess if you, it's pretty weak to the Galloping Savior though. If this weren't Galloping Savior, it would be decent. But giving your opponent a 3/4 is not great.
Ogre trades. Gurabashi gets a trade. Mankrik comes down. Neophyte. Can it just hero power? Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know it's galloping. We don't want our opponent to get that 3/4.
Yeah. And there's no rush on these Libram of Hopes. There's no real threat currently. They are just giant 8/8s with taunt and divine shield. So there is a case to play it. So
I mean, it's hard for me to see a play that is better than make an 8/8 with divine shield taunt.
agreed. Yeah. And next turn they get to play one for 5 mana because the attendant came down. Just gonna remove out the Neophyte. Draws Fox.
At this point, this has to be a passage turn.
Yeah.
I don't see anything else that works.
Yeah, this 8/8 is just so big. Like, it's gotten to the point where this rogue is kind of looking to do some crazy things. There's passage. Rogue needs to get some nice stuff. Like, yeah, there would be something. Would be a Wand Thief. Og Merchant Field Contact. Wow, this is awesome.
Guardian Og Merchant on the Gurabashi will bring it as a 8/5 divine shield.
Yeah, and it'll be able to clear off the 8/8 taunt. Yeah, that's insane. But it does trigger galloping, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, but we drew Prize Plunder, so it's fine.
Yeah, we drew Prize Plunder.
Oh, Shooting Star is insane here.
Oh yeah,
because it lets you pop that divine shield, and then you can play that Og Merchant on Gurabashi, followed by like Prize Plunderer on the Holy Steed, I believe, and that draws you half your deck and lets you full clear.
Yeah, and that looks like exactly what Mick is doing. So yeah, that's a full clear and a full developed board. And we're going to remove off the 1/2 as well, for good measure. Yeah. This is very...
And we're going to hit face with our weapon.
Oh, 100% hit face with weapon. Alexstrasza in hand is really big. It actually represents 1 damage off lethal because of that. I expect a couple of taunts to come down here to just get in the way.
Yeah, it'll get in the way, but your opponent still has that field contact up. I think.
Yeah, this is not. This
Paladin
is gonna be tough. Yeah. Shadow Step.
I think Rogue might have lethal this turn.
Potentially, yeah.
So I believe you can guarantee draw the rest of your deck, meaning you'll hit Mancrick's wife.
Yeah, I think he's just looking for +2 buff. Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, it hits the +2 buff. I think that should be definitely lethal.
Yeah, just has to trade probably your other Wand Thief in because it's got the least amount of attack. And then you'll be able to get quite a lot of damage out.
We trade the 2/1 into the 8/8. We can then Wicked Stab it. Although I think.
Oh yeah, Wicked Stab would also be pretty good. You could
work fast enough to figure out these lines. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just gonna Shadow Step the Og Merchant. Brain Freeze. There we go. He's going. Make his.
He's trading the 3/4. Yeah, hits the wife, and that's
unfortunate.
Somewhat of a punish. but I really don't think it matters. Paladin has one card in hand. Played some. There's no world where the Paladin ever wins from here.
And Mick got all his attacks into the APM. Carrier Rome is just not going to be enough, and that means that we're going to have a tied series pending a disconnect. But I doubt it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
We see the emote followed by concede, which, yeah. That's sort of the issue that Paladin runs into, especially versus Rogue, is that you're able to play this very tempo-based, aggressive game plan with good stat minions, but when you remove all those reactive tools and your opponent goes, cool, you spent all of your turns buffing stuff, I'm going to, in a single turn, clear your board, draw my entire deck, and set up lethal. Your move. Paladin doesn't have a response to that.
No, Paladin does not have a response to that. That was one of the craziest turns I've ever seen, honestly. Like, for Miracle Rogue, like, for turning a match around. Not like I haven't seen crazy turns before in matches, but yeah, I mean, Mick was just like, I have this one secret passage, and secret passage was like, all right, here's your game-winning line. Pretty nutty.
I did like the secret passage. You play all of the cards from it. It's wait, it's supposed to go. They're supposed to go back to your deck. Nah, you're gonna have 9 cards because you drew.
All right.
I make my own.
This is a quite strong rogue hand. Druid hand, not so much. These are both decks that really like to be on the coin. I think if I'm Risen, I drop the Wicked Stab and keep the other 3. Whereas if I'm Mick, I probably just single keep Glowfly.
Yeah, I can see that.
Isn't also opting for a full null. And I can't. Did Mick keep the solar eclipse, or did it?
It just
lull into
it returned.
itself?
No, I don't know. My tracker bugged out a little bit. I think he just came back to him. It looks like he only kept the Glowfly.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. So just some early turns just to build up a hand needs. A Fungal Forces would be so nice here for Mick, just to get his Glowflies able to come down faster. Or be able to actually accelerate into them.
Yeah. I don't need to come down faster. I can play one next turn. It's just only going to get 4 2/2s.
Yeah, it won't give you anything, so definitely doesn't want to do that. Rawsy Power of the Wild. So at least we have a buff card for the Glowflies when they come down.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised to see a Glowfly. But generally, Rogue with their early game clears, like nothing being played, shows there's probably a lot of clear in the hand.
Field Contact Coin Guardian.
Yeah, that's a good.
Seems good.
That seems good, yeah.
The Druid can clear it, but
yeah, they can, but I mean, that would use some decent chunk of resources.
there's the fungal that you were talking about.
Yeah, it would be fine to play this turn. It's just Mick might want to clear this board, like you mentioned.
I think you have to clear off that field contact, but I believe we can Lunar Eclipse, Fungal, hopefully hit an Innervate, and if we don't, then I guess Bloom out a Hero Power.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is otherwise, so with Solar Eclipse plus Lunar Eclipse, do they both hit the same target?
Yes. So you could kill off the fungal that way, or you could kill off the field contact that way.
And I guess question 2 is, does it make the next spell cost 4 less or 2 less?
2, I think.
Okay, because if the discount counted twice, then we could have done Solar Eclipse, Lunar Eclipse into Fungal.
You know what? I'm not
if it doesn't work
100%
that
sure.
way-
That's what, like, part of me thinks that it wouldn't do it because it seems stupid. But I don't know. You're right.
I think if you're not confident this isn't really a situation, I don't want to risk it. So.
Exactly. I think, and we see for Risen, Kazakis off the top, and so he's just gonna rip that and look for a 5 golem. Taunt, Divine Shield, Life Steal. I like. Oh, you could. Part of me would take Life Steal, but I think you want Divine Shield copy. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, Divine Shield copy is one of the stronger combinations.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we can Glowfly for 6, and that's good. We could also Fungal Fortunes and try and build up a more insane board.
You could go like Glowfly, Bloom, Power if you really want to make sure that this board doesn't die.
I think
Make
the
it
issue
harder.
there is there's not really a good follow-up.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we're just gonna see Glowfly, very likely pass, yeah. And now let's see how Risen wants to deal with this board. He has a lot of options to clear.
Yeah, looking at the hand right now, I think I would trade in Kazakis, then Tenwu it, and play it again, and then double Prize Plunder to clear off 2 more of the guys. I think at the end of the day, it leaves your opponent with 2 Glowflies left, and leaves you with a pretty sizable board.
This leaves his opponent with 0.
Yeah. This leaves your
Glowflies.
opponent with 0.
It's a lot of resources. Double prize plunderer with no double prize plunderer with no shadow step to bring something back for later could really leave him wanting here, especially when we see now Arbor Up come into hand. Where
I think it's a good thing we full cleared last turn.
It
with my
100%
line.
is, yeah.
If Mick goes Solar Eclipse Arbor Up, even still, Solar Eclipse Arbor Up is very spooky.
Oh yeah, I don't know how it gets
Good.
cleared. Besides, like Tenwu on a prize plunder after like some crazy shenanigans, but there's nothing really in hand. Like Risen's almost just looking at a secret passage, but we're gonna go for Glowfly, Innervate Power of the Wild here.
Innervate Hero Power.
Innervate Hero Power
I
to
don't
clear
mind
Kazakis.
this play either.
Gonna play it slow and just try to get Solar Arbor for the win next turn. That's not bad. Probably forces Risen to have to use his passage now to look for some more.
Well, what are we looking for from Passage? We've played both Prize Plunders
Brain
and one Brain
Freeze.
Freeze.
I guess you're looking for like
Yeah, I
second.
do
I guess you're looking
second
for
brain
like second
freezes.
brain. Yeah, I don't know what you're actually looking for. You're right. This is kind of spooky. Maybe your second. You're looking for like second stab. Like, I'm so fascinated. One thing that okay, there's Wand Thief. Wand
We're
Thief
looking
can
for
find
Wand
you.
Thieves.
That's what
Wand
it is.
Thieves and Shadow Steps. I forgot about those.
Yeah, Wand Thief, Shadow Step. Yeah, this is really nice, and can even has enough to do some other stuff. Gets it devolving here. I would quite like to see that, and then I would like to see. I'd like to see it. I'd like to. Yeah, you could Shadow Step and Neophyte, but I was thinking about Shadow Stepping the Wand Thief with the Neophyte this turn still. But I guess like you're just trying to make it so it's very difficult to do things. So yeah, we're gonna see the Shadow Step.
Neophyte.
Yeah, Shadow Step Neophyte play it. So that way there's just no it just would almost be it's actually impossible to play, to play Solar Arbor, but one Arbor Up in itself for 7 mana, like that's still a lot of stats on board.
We could throw in the Lightning Bloom to overload ourselves for 2 next turn for no reason if we want to.
I guess,
I think
but
just Arbor Up is.
yeah, I think the play is just Arbor here. You could, in theory, you could go for like 5 mana Fungal Fortunes, but I would like to just see the Arbor Up here. Yeah.
Arbor up, then we're pushing 16, set our opponent to 12, and we have 6 4/3s on board. Yeah, that seems quite strong. I wonder if maybe one of these trade to prevent it from getting shadow stepped.
They do. Let's do go.
Opts to trade into the neophyte.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we start by attacking with one thief, then 10 wooing and playing it again. If we hit
Probably.
combustion, we can get full clear options with devolving.
Definitely.
Yeah, one of the things with Miracle Rogue is you, even when you don't have that many cards at hand, you often have to play very quickly because there's so many decisions that you have to make during turns.
Yeah, I think he I mean, I don't think it. I think that the Fox. I don't think that the Wand Thief will cost 0 because Foxy will make it cost 0 even though it comes back as a 1 from Tenwu. So I would still like to see. I would still like to see the Tenwu here. But I guess just
It looks like we aren't playing the Tenwu here. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just yeah, and then Mick just goes solar power, and I think that's game. I haven't counted the damage yet.
Up 9 on board, and solar power is an additional 6. That will just be game.
Cool. So the Druid actually getting through. I've always wondered why this matchup, like, I always wondered why the stats all tell me that this matchup's so heavily favored for Rogue, but I've never seen a Rogue win this matchup. So
I think,
like, I know that Rogue has so many clear options, but
I think if Risen had Tenwood that Wand Thief and found a combustion or another thing or something like that, I think that game could easily have gone to the Rogue.
Sure.
But of course, the issue there is if you miss, then you're probably just dead that turn, and playing the Neophyte's a little safer, although didn't end up panning out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to see Paladin into Warrior. I definitely agree with this. I think Paladin can hold its own a lot more against Warrior than Rogue can.
Yeah. Agreed. So yeah, we know what Mick will be playing for the rest of the match. He'll be playing the Warrior, and Risen will have to win with both Paladin and Rogue here.
I think Risen's going to be fighting a little bit of an uphill battle this game, and a lot more of one next game. Although, I'm looking at this Paladin hand, and this hand is absolutely absurd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we go attendant on 1, could even attendant coin knight on 1, hand of it all on 2, and then we've got Murger and First Day on 3, and the Warrior's not going to have a great response. At least not yet.
Yeah. There's the making of a good hand here from the Warrior, though.
Yeah, but it's a good hand that's going to take a while to set up. And
Exactly.
Paladin might not give you that while to set up that you need. Like, I think if the Warrior hits that turn 5 and plays Runfac, you're going to be in a great spot. But if the Paladin vomits stuff on the board and you're not able to deal with it before then, you're in a not good spot.
Yeah. So we do actually opt for the bump with the bumper car on the Aldor attendant. I would be very surprised to not see Hand of Vidal coming down this turn, which would allow Risen to push that 3 damage face. There's no reason to trade with the bumper car. I'm wondering if, I thought maybe there was some consideration just playing Murger here, but I think Merker first day is just so strong next turn.
Yeah, I think the consideration I was thinking was maybe we play Knight of Anointment, because then
Okay.
if we get Libram of Wisdom, we could play that.
That makes
But-
sense, yeah.
I think Hand of It All is just better.
Yeah, definitely. Knight of Anointment draw was another possibility, and probably a better consideration than Murder. Because even if you don't like what you get, you can always first day that turn. Even though it might make things a bit more awkward.
I think it was Knight, and then if you don't hit Libram, you just coin out Hand.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. I thought maybe saving the coin for something like maybe a potential 5-mana 4/6, or even just getting the Libram of Judgment out earlier. But of course, we'll see how this ends up. We'll see how the coin gets used later. Mick has a ETC in hand with 2 playmakers that are both playable, but I would. That's so weird. I guess you can just play a playmaker because it's a board presence.
Yeah, I think you do, because
Yeah.
it does contest a 3/4.
Exactly.
But like, you don't feel great about playing a playmaker
Mhm.
on 3 with nothing to follow it up. I think here we'd
Yes.
probably Knight of Anointment.
Knight of Anointment,
If we
yeah.
hit Libram or Second Hand, which we didn't, we would have been able to trade into this playmaker.
Yeah.
Now it's a question of, do we first day of school or do we Murger?
Yeah, and because of potential conviction in a couple turns, I might go with the Murger, but obviously first day of school gets you a lot of good things here. I don't know if it's
First day into Broom, Wand Thief, Prize of Plum would all allow us to clear. But
yes,
opts to just go for the safe play.
that would be
We'll just
crazy.
play it.
That would be absolutely crazy. That would be the absolute nuttiest first day of school.
Wow. Any of those options would have allowed us to clear.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think you need all 3, although you wouldn't complain.
No, I wouldn't complain if I hit that. Yeah, that and a Crimson Sigil runner on the right.
I think if I'm Mick, I take a value trade and play a 5/5.
Yeah, definitely. I think Tent Trasher's really good here.
I think actually, if we trade this 1/2 into Murger, we can then go Playmaker.
Oh yeah,
Rider,
Playmaker
and once it's
Rider.
full clear.
You know, yeah, I actually
I like
did.
that
I
a
actually
lot.
did. I actually did see that, like, right as you were mentioning it. But he does opt for the value trade with Tent Trasher. So
Yeah,
there's.
I don't mind this because it sets up for Runthak on these riders.
Yeah, and here's 5-mana 4/6 taunt. Which, Risen has the option to coin it out now. It probably is the best play. First day of school. I mean, I guess if you get like one of those 3, like if you get like a Wand Thief from it, it's pretty good. You can look for something to remove the Tent Trasher potentially.
We can Conviction and kill that Tent Trasher, but
Yeah,
there's also a bumper car, which makes that a
play is
lot
just
iffier.
not good. Yeah, or not as good, I should
think
say.
we do coin out that 4/6. I guess the concern is that our opponent can still trade pretty favorably and do it on the board.
Yeah, I don't know if that matters as much as just like discounting the hope in your hand and the judgment. Because now there's 2 turns away from 8 mana, or from 8/8 taunt Divine Shield, which would corrupt the judgment. The bonk book. And next turn's not even that terrible with Conviction and first day if you want to like look for some 1-drops. There's also some good draw potentials for next turn as well.
I'll say I really like bumping into the Tent Trasher with Murger. I think it makes this a lot awkwarder for the warrior.
Yeah,
although it's
agreed.
we still just play our Runthak.
Runthak makes some nice stuff. The ETC is now a 2/5, which is a lot better than a 2 mana, which is like infinitely better, it feels like, than a 2-mana 1/4. Although ETC's spot in this deck is just a potential combo piece later on.
I think especially against Paladin, it's often more of a potential combo piece.
Yeah.
But...
Alright, we're just gonna play the Uncorrupted book, which, I mean, I guess you can do that?
Couldn't we have played Aldor Attendant too?
Yes. I might have just liked Sword here more. Because then you could just corrupt the book and then you're healing later on potentially. But I mean, it's also good just to be able to push the damage and force the issue with the warrior, right?
I think the more relevant thing is if we play Sword, not killing Runthak.
Oh yeah,
and if we're not killing Runthak,
then we're making a mistake. Yeah. You're right. So the book was the best play there. For some reason I forgot there was a Runthak on board. But yeah. You could have still at least played the Aldor Attendant to discount it to 3. Conditioning, that's a big Rokara. A big everything in hand right now.
Worth noting, with ETC, the warrior can currently do 16 damage from hand on turn 9.
Yes. Raw's Talon. So that's your way to get Alex to your hand. I guess, or this version probably doesn't even run it, so you're probably
Liadrin.
So it wouldn't draw Liadrin. It would honestly just draw a 5-mana 4/6 probably at this point.
No, it would draw Murgurgle Prime.
Oh, it would draw Prime. Dang, yeah, that's really good. Okay, we're gonna bump into Rokara and then make a big 8/8 Taunt Divine Shield.
Yeah, bumping is interesting because we are making a large taunt, although because we're healing up that damage, I don't mind it. We know our opponent has 4/4 riders, so like chances are they're probably clearing here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Playmaker, ETC, double rider, Playmaker. Yeah, I think that's a little.
You could just go Playmaker, ETC. Single warrior. Actually, you could just go all the warriors, yeah. All the riders, I should say. But we're gonna opt to hold the ETC. Maybe not. Maybe you're gonna play just these out first.
There's still time to play it.
Yeah. Just flooding board.
I don't see a good reason not to play this ETC here. Crab Rider doesn't have Perma Wind Fury anymore. I'd rather stick the ETC on board.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Yeah, Mick is just going to play ETC here. 4/7. Goodness gracious. Okay. Big boy.
Yeah, and this is...
so much damage.
Super spooky for the Paladin.
Yeah, Paladin, I don't know if it can come back from this, right?
Yeah, this is... Yeah.
Like, Liadrin doesn't get you enough, and your opponent's sitting with like 20 plus on board with 9, 16, 22 damage on board currently.
Yeah, like you could play Talon and have a taunt up, or you could play Cariel and trade, and in both of those situations you're still dead.
Yeah, because ETC living is just not good. But there's maybe the Cariel, you can't buff Cariel to the point where Cariel... No. You could go like Cariel Conviction and you could clear the ETC here, but you're still dead on board. And there's no taunt in your way at that point. So...
I think the closest we get to living is Talon and then trade with our weapon into something, but we're still just dead.
Yeah. Probably maybe just trade into Rokara at that point.
Yeah, but... We're still just dead on board.
Yeah. So it looks like Mick's just gonna pull this one out. Which, what isn't exactly an unfavored for the warrior. And just still should hopefully see, the Crab Rider just is the way that this game ends, yeah.
Yeah, the Crab Rider wins even through the taunt.
It does, yes.
Yeah, that's a matchup. It's roughly a 50-50. It's one of those where like you open up the Paladin on HS replay and like it's not a red number, but it's like the slightly yellowish number. But yeah, we see the Paladin's able to get fairly explosive starts, but Warrior's able to get way more explosive mid games.
Yeah. I'm just asking Mick if he wants to do an interview here. We can,
Right.
and we can do however long of an interview ends up happening. Honestly, yeah, I guess.
Well, we can't go over an hour.
No, we're not going to go an hour, but generally we don't have to do like a super quick interview. But just gonna wait to see if he responds. I might send him a message also on Discord.
Yeah, I predicted it would come down to Game 5, Druid versus Paladin, but Druid was able to find that win against Rogue a little earlier.
Yeah.
It's that's sort of the debate right now that's happening in a lot of lineups. Is everyone knows that Priest and Rogue are auto brings, and Warrior is pretty close to an auto bring, and it's just the question of do I bring Token Druid, do I bring Libram Paladin, or do I bring N'Zoth Paladin as the fourth?
Makes sense. I have no response yet. Okay, getting a response now. All right, so Mick is gonna come in for a quick interview.
All right.
Sounds good. I will get him up in here. Hello.
Hey, what's
Oh. All right.
Hello. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with like how you felt about, because your lineups very similar, and even your rogues decks that you and Risen both brought were pretty much 30 of 30 the same card. I don't know how you felt coming into this matchup with the classes.
I felt pretty good, I would say, but I was afraid of the Libram Paladin. I thought that my warrior would struggle against this matchup, but I ended up winning that one. So, but overall, I think I came very prepared and I knew how to approach my matchups. So, I really love the way I played these games.
A quick question. Is there a purpose for the Ogre-Mancers in that warrior? Were you expecting a deck that wasn't brought, or do you just run those in your list normally?
I was expecting mage. It was like mainly for mage. But yeah, mage wasn't brought, so. But they're still good against some matchups against paladin. They play some spells, so it's still a good card.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And stats aren't bad, even if you're not getting too many spells from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're still gonna get the two taunts, so yeah, it's still gonna be a good card.
Yeah, definitely. Ogremancer just being a 5-mana 3/7 is a big body, and especially in a deck like Rush Warrior, you're probably looking at it being more like a 5/9, which is great stats. I wonder. I always wonder about the Token Druid versus Miracle Rogue matchup. I figure since you got through playing it, I'm not sure like what your thoughts are. Obviously, the stats always indicate it's Miracle Rogue favored, but I've never seen a Miracle Rogue win it, including myself playing it.
I think you can win on both sides. The key card for Miracle Rogue is to plan your Cult Neophyte turns very well. And if you're able to do that on the Rogue side, you're gonna win the game. But without Neophyte, the token Druid is just gonna run over you. It's
Yeah.
it's very close though. You can definitely win on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we definitely saw that in that game with the Druid managing even through those cold neophytes to get that victory. I did have one question for you with that rogue deck. Um, there were some hands we were looking at where you had field contact, cheap combo cards, and I think we were both talking about what cards you wanted to keep, and you opted to just full pitch all of them. Is there a specific mulligan strategy you have with that rogue deck?
Um, so usually I would keep field contact, but I think getting the Octobot is slightly better, especially on the coin, because um, they're gonna play a 1/1 into you, and then you just want to get the discount if you just coin Octobot on turn 1, because they can't deny your Octo proc with End of Vidal, since it's gonna be a 3/3 and not a 4 attack minion. But generally, I think field contact is a good keep.
Wait, so you're telling me 2-mana cards that discount your other cards are really good in your opening hand? I
Yeah.
never would have guessed.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know it's.
Man. All right. Do you have any more questions, Milo? Before I guess we wrap this up, and then we'll let Mick do his shout outs afterwards.
I guess my last question is, we've just recently got the mini set announced for next week. What are you most hoping to see printed in the mini set?
Oh boy. Good question. Uh, Honestly, I have no idea. I just want to see some changes in the meta, because it's been a while since we see the same decks over and over again. So just having a new meta is gonna be enjoyable for many players.
And
That's fair.
yeah, and I for one am just hoping they don't print Nitro Boost Poison again. But definitely need some power. Definitely need some stuff to shake up what we're seeing right now.
Would be nice to see maybe a buff for Shaman. This is a dead class for a while now, so why not?
Yeah, definitely. Because the last time
What
we
do you mean, Shaman got a buff. They buffed Unbound Elemental and I believe Tidal Surge.
and Lily
Shaman's insane.
and Lily Pad
Yeah.
Lurker.
Yeah.
Good one.
But yeah, I would like to see Shaman be buffed, but not in a way that promotes evolve. Because
I think the last time we saw Shaman being good was Evolve Shaman. So no, thank you.
yeah, no thanks. That
Yeah,
wasn't auto. You just brought it every week, and if your opponent didn't ban it, it got a win. It got at least one win in Conquest, and it could sweep in like Hero in Last Hero Standing. Yeah.
I mean, Evolve Shaman didn't always win.
No.
Sometimes a certain player brought Kobold Sticky Finger. And
Yeah,
would steal your box.
that's true. Yeah, you would play. Warriors could just run double sticky, even double sticky, double ooze, and like you could run that in every deck against Shaman if you wanted. Last expansion, but we're not in last expansion anymore, obviously. So yeah, obviously, thank you so much for coming on stream. And getting and giving us a great match. Any shout outs that you have?
Shout out to my team. Pretty much it.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, no worries.
Yeah, your team's fantastic. I know a few of the guys on the team, so pretty.
Yeah, we
pretty
have a
great.
great team. We're gonna try to win this one for now.
Yeah. All right, so I guess before
Right.
we, so that's gonna conclude this part of the stream. We're gonna be back in about an hour, a little less than an hour now with a hero match. But there's no need to be staying on for an extra 50 minutes while we wait. So I will just briefly mention that THL for the month of June, celebrating Pride Month, we have our new logo that you can see kind of in the middle of the shield on the screen. And you see that we have a donation bar there up at the top left. Any like THL is going to be raising money through donations and subscriptions and bits, as well as merch sales will all be going towards the Trevor Project, which is a really great organization that supports the LGBTQIA plus community. So we really would appreciate any amount that you want to donate. You don't have to, but any amount is welcome. So, you know, thanks for supporting us in general, just by watching and by being a part of THL. But if you want to give a little extra, it'd be much appreciated. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this first half of Thursday Throwdown. We will be back for Cherub versus the Big Ted in a little under an hour. So until then, stay safe, and we will see you very soon.